Alright, what's up guys? I figured make a little bit of a different video tonight. I'm actually doing an install on the car. I'm actually removing the MA Performance intake and tune and I'm installing the Cobb SF intake, and I'm also getting a tune by Bren Tuning. And I'll kind of go over why I'm making the switch as I'm installing it. This is not going to be a do-it-yourself or anything like that, but I kind of just figured I would talk my way through it because lately I've been doing the review videos and everything, and I figured might as well just set up the camera as I'm doing this tonight. Kind of give you guys an idea as to why I'm switching it up, and I guess my thoughts on this intake. I'll make sure I'll do a follow-up video after I get it installed and everything, and I do my revisions with Bren Tuning, because basically I got to install the Stage 1 SF Cobb map, and then once I do that I have to send over my data logging to Bren Tuning, and they'll be able to kind of fine tune and critique everything that I need for this car. So let's get started. Alright, I guess the first thing I'll do is kind of go over this intake. I actually got the box last night or yesterday, and I got the actual intake and the filter and everything today. So that's kind of why I have everything laid out here, because I was just waiting for this part to come in. But yeah, I actually had the Cobb SF intake on my previous WRX, and actually I really liked it a lot. I think it's a very clean look. I like the fact that it's a separate box as opposed to other cold air intakes like the MA Performance one, where it's basically just the heat shield and just to the bottom. This is actually a short ram intake, if you want to get technical, because it's still in the engine bay, it's not dropped down the bottom, so it's technically in the same position as the stock Airbox, but this will help kind of make the car breathe a little bit better, and also will give the great intake noises that I kind of grew accustomed to with the MA Performance intake that I've had on the car for about 2,000 miles now. I'm actually selling this one, so if anybody's interested, or the MA Performance one, if anybody's interested, just let me know, and I'll give you a good deal on it. Like I said, it only has about 2,000 miles on it, so it's pretty much brand new. But what you get in the kit, this is the stock snorkel, but you need that. But what you get in the intake, sorry, this is an old microfiber, I just didn't want to scratch the table, but what you get for the Cobb SF intake, you get this stuff. So basically, this is the Airbox. That's kind of the overall look that you'll get when it's installed. This is actually much nicer than the one I had on my WRX. This is actually a plate, which is much nicer. Usually it just said Cobb like it is on the the tube. It was just like printed on there, and it was you could scratch it really easily. This is more of that wrinkled finish that a lot of the like the plenum and a lot of the parent parts and stuff like that, it has the same kind of finish. So that's really nice. I thought this was much nicer than previous versions. This is the actual Airbox that's going to sit in the little area. The actual intake is going to sit through here, but I don't know about fitment yet. I haven't installed it obviously, but it looked really nice, so I'm really happy with that. Last night I actually installed the rubber pieces here and here, just to kind of give myself a head start. I was in the garage, so I said might as well just kind of knock them out. You get the hardware for the actual filter and intake. This is for the screws to go on top to kind of close the box up. This is just extra rubber that goes around. This is actually the brace that's going to hold the intake in position. And this is the actual intake. It'll go in here. Once the bag's not going to be on there, but it'll go in there. It's a really nice setup, very clean. I'm kind of looking forward to putting this in the car, because as ugly as the stock intake is, this one's it's a little bit it's obviously nicer, but I think it's going to clean up the engine bay. I wasn't crazy about that huge hole that the MA Performance one left. It was just kind of open and didn't look finished, and especially I have it in the raw finish, so it kind of gave it a little bit of a, I guess, unfinished look, obviously, because it's not painted or anything. But this should clean things up a little bit, so it kind of gives it a little bit better look in the engine bay. All right, so I guess the next step is I'm gonna have to remove the MA Performance intake. So I'll kind of just talk my way through that as I'm doing it. Like I said, this is this is not going to be a do-yourself mod. I'm not going to go step by step on how to do it. It's pretty simple. There's actually instructions. If you go to the Cobb website, you can just type in which intake you're installing on what car and everything, and it'll give you a good idea exactly what to do. But yeah, so let's get started. I got to take this one out. It's very simple. It's literally just, let me take a look, see what kind of angle you guys got. All right, so this is a pretty simple removal. So let me get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out these clamps. I'm basically just going to loosen everything up, you know, because I got to undo some bolts and everything. So once it's loose, it'll be much easier to kind of maneuver around. It's still hot, man. What time is it? I don't even know. No, it's about 9 o'clock, and I haven't driven the car in like 3 or 4 hours, so it's pretty crazy. It's still hot. Alright, so let me get my socket out, get an extension. I believe everything is a 12 millimeter? I forget, 10 or 12. I think it's 10. I think it's 10, let me check. Yep, so everything is a 10 millimeter. I'm going to unplug this MAF sensor here so I don't forget and accidentally pull on it or anything. Just got to set that aside. I don't need the extension right now. Alright, so I guess I'll go over why I'm removing the MA Performance intake and tune. I mean, the short answer is I'm kind of just interested in trying something else. You know, I've been going through some thoughts of selling the car or what I want to do, and ultimately, no matter what I decide to do, I want to make sure the car is healthy. There's a good tune on it, because if I do sell it, I want to make sure that the buyer is getting a good car, and kind of vice versa. I want to make sure I'm driving a healthy and proper tuned STI. I don't want to be driving around and being nervous about it and everything. I haven't really heard any bad reviews on the MA Performance one, so there's not anything directly that is making me uninstall this and change it up. I simply, the curiosity got the best of me. I've heard really good things about Bren tuning, and one of the great things that I really liked about the whole concept of it was that it's an e-tune. So, you know, you install it, there, that was it. Got the intake out. So this is going to be for sale along with the heat shield. I'll get that out in a second. The MAF sensor will be taken out, but this will be for sale. It's really nice, very, very nicely made. Great shape, there's no scratches or anything, it's just the raw finish. So, but let me set this aside and kind of continue on with why I'm removing this. So what I was saying was, what was I saying? I totally forgot. I just want to make sure that the car has a healthy tune on it, and I believe in my video of me reviewing this MA Performance tune and intake, I did mention something about I had some codes pop up that didn't necessarily make me nervous or anything, but it definitely gave me some questions as to, you know, what's going on here. Let me get a bigger extension. So I ended up emailing MA Performance, and they responded, gave me some, you know, great customer service. I have nothing against them. They were really helpful, and I gave them some data logs, and they looked it over and they said everything looks healthy. Basically, the error that I got was it was saying that it was a P000D code, which is, I believe, the exhaust cam sensor or something. I forget what it was. It said slow response, so it was saying basically it wasn't getting enough oil, or it just wasn't responding correctly. And there's a lot of things that can contribute to that code after I did a lot of research on it and see what other people had some issues, you know, if there's any issues and people were having problems with it. You know, a lot of it, people were saying it could be bad gas, it could be the sensors were clogged up, or it was going bad. So I took the initiative. I went to the dealership and I got an oil change. I actually scheduled to get an oil change as well as have the sensor looked at, but the day that I was there was a weekend. They didn't have any technicians there to do any diagnosing, so they said bring it back when we have somebody available. So what I just decided to get the oil change done, because that was my first thing I wanted to get done, just get some clean oil in the car and see if that would help. And that was 2-3 weeks ago, maybe? I don't remember. Maybe a month ago? I don't know. But anyway, I usually got BP gas. Once in a while I'll get Shell, but now I'm exclusively going to Shell. So, better gas, got an oil change, and it seemed to completely resolve the issue. So I guess I kind of had that in my mind that you know, it could happen again, and I didn't want to have that thought in my head that, you know, this error or this code could pop up again when I'm just driving. Like every single time it popped up I was either sitting at a light or just cruising, wasn't doing anything crazy. You know, there was no knock or anything alarming to me. Here, let me get, it's a little tough with this one. So I started doing some research, and I came across Bren Tuning, sorry. And they had a lot of good reviews. A lot of people were recommending them. And I liked the fact that they were an e-tune, so you basically send your data logs in and they review it and kind of make changes to make sure your car is healthy and make the customer happy. So obviously a little bit more expensive than the MA Performance one, because the MA Performance, here you go, here's the heat shield, has the MA Performance logo on there, same finish as the actual intake, so this will be for sale as well. But yeah, the MA Performance, the actual tune was $75, plus, you know, the cost of the intake. But when you got the intake, you got the tune free, or included with it, so it wasn't extra. I already had the MA Performance Stage 1 tune that they hooked me up with, so they were really gracious enough and really helpful and all that stuff. So they hooked me up with this one, and I've been really happy with it. The car, it pulled really hard, to be completely honest. It was a big difference from the Stage 1 to Stage 1 Plus with the intake. I mean, most of it is contributing to the actual tune, not the intake. But it obviously added a lot of cool noises, and I really like that. You know, it kind of made the drive a lot more fun. So there's nothing against it. But like I said, I wanted something a little bit better, a little bit more, I guess, fine-tuned towards the car. So I found Bren Tuning and decided to go with them. And I asked them, hey, I have the MA Performance intake on here, I want to get your tune. Are you able to tune it with that intake on there? And they said no. We recommend stock or the Cobb SF intake. So I wanted to keep the noise and everything, so I wanted to go with the Cobb SF because I didn't want to put the stock back in there. It was too quiet, and I think you get a little bit more gain out of the Cobb intake, so I went with that. So it kind of got the best of me, and the great thing is I wanted to, you know, if I ever want to go stage 2 down the line, I can do that. I have the tune, so all I would have to do is contact them. I believe it's $150 or something like that. I don't know. For a stage 2, same thing since I already have it. I don't know if that's the pricing on that, but something like that where it's not as much, and to be able to tune the car. So if I get any other mods that I want to get a tune, you know, include on the tune, I can just do that, and they can kind of add it on there and make sure everything's running right. Another thing that I also got was the Burble tune. I know this is kind of a love it, hate it kind of thing. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm kind of a fan of it. I don't know what I'm going to think. It might be too much. The great thing about it is you can turn it on or off. So if it is too much, I believe there's a low and high setting. In other words, if you know a lot of pops and bangs or minimal or completely off. So I'll have that option to kind of play with, and it's something to kind of make the drive a little bit more enjoyable. So that should be fun. I think it was it was like a $50 add-on, so hey, whatever. You're already spending the money, might as well. All right, so let me get installing with this Cobb intake. It should be pretty straightforward. And I'll let you know the fitment and everything and as I'm going through it and what I think. All right. Okay, so let's get into installing this intake. It should be pretty straightforward. I have the instructions up on my computer over here, so I'm kind of got to follow along. So don't mind me if I kind of look over. It is pretty straightforward, but you know, it's nice to have some guide. All right, so the first thing they ask you to do is to put this Airbox in this spot. So kind of just got to finagle it in. You got to be careful because there's some hoses here that you don't want to bend or anything or have it get in the way. All right, so the first thing I'm noticing is the Airbox is a little finicky because there's no perfect place for it to go. I guess it should go there, right? And that lines up. Just make sure you're not pinching any of the headlight wires, I guess. I think what's kind of getting caught up is that rubber seal, which kind of creates a seal, obviously. All right, so kind of got that positioned, and you want to remove this bolt that's holding the power steering to the frame of the car, because you're going to reuse this bolt to kind of anchor or secure this box to the car. All right, so that lines up. Let me make sure. Okay, so all right, so we're not using the stock bolt here. There's a longer bolt that they want you to use, which I'll get. It's in this little bag. believe is this one. Oops. Yeah, this looks like it. This is a little bit longer, I believe. Yeah, it's actually the same size, but I'll use it because they told me to. Alright, so next thing they want you to do is put this bracket in. So I'm going to slip that in. Let me get this in place first. One thing, they want to make sure that you have the MAF cable ran underneath here. It's like a little slot, so it stays in the airbox, kind of protected. Alright, so that's in there. That's lined up. Alright, we're looking good. Okay, so next thing they want you to do is to take this bracket and slide it in the frame hole over here underneath. A little tricky line there. Alright, sorry about that. I'm not sure when my mic, my lab mic cut out or stopped working, but I guess I'll find out when I'm editing this. But alright, now moving on to installing the actual intake. So pretty straightforward. I got this set up so the intake's actually on the actual, I don't even know what that's called, the MAP sensor holder part. So I'm just getting the arm, the silicone arm ready, because it's gonna simply be placed onto, or the hose I should say, I guess that's a better word. Just gotta squeeze that on. Pretty straightforward. It absolutely goes on. There we go. Okay, so got that in position. Next thing you want to do is, so they kind of just want you to place it in here, kind of where it's supposed to go. I can get a better angle here. There we go. Okay. Alright, so let's see if we can slide it in more. Let me loosen. I always try to tell myself to wear gloves. I always end up forgetting. Sorry if I'm in the shot. I always end up forgetting, or they tear and I just get annoyed. So I usually just end up taking them off. But I have been wearing them more often now. That's that. That's in there. Cool. Alright. The next thing they want you to do is it's a little hard to do. Simple concept, but there's not much room to work. Oh boy. Sorry if I'm in the shot. This is an awkward angle to get these screws in, or bolts. so this is what we're looking at. I didn't put the cover on yet. As you can see, everything's installed, clean. Kind of hard and dark, but kind of get the idea. And the last final piece to put on is this. So kind of cleans everything up. Obviously I gotta put the screws in, and I gotta put the snorkel on. But so far I'm really happy with it, just how it looks. Everything's fitting really well. As you can see, all the holes here line up perfectly, which is nice, because I remember on my last one, WRX, I had to do some like bend it around to get it to fit right. But yeah, I'll give you a clean shot when I get everything bolted on. All right, well, there we go. Not bad. Intake is installed. Looks super clean. Very OEM like. It's 9:47, so I started at 9, I think, so it was about 45 minutes. That also included me filming and everything, so you know, you can do it in a little less time. I feel like the MA Performance one took longer. I don't know why. It's less parts and everything, but for some reason that one didn't fit as well as this. I do wish that Cobb would include a new snorkel. Granted, you know, it's okay, whatever, it is what it is. It's more for aesthetics, but it'd be cool if they offered a snorkel for this with like a little scoop that goes down to the grill. I know they have a shroud that goes here with the scoop that kind of helps airflow, but that would be pretty cool if they offered that as an option, so everything would match and look, you know, it'd be like the whole Cobb intake as opposed to just, you know, this part, and this is OEM. I do wish these screws, I mean, this is just me nitpicking, I wish these screws were black just to kind of blend in a little bit more, but that's not really that big of a deal. You can get the tube in blue, but I much prefer the black. The blue wouldn't just not really fit well. The black kind of blends in, which is nice. But yeah, now I'm going to load up the Cobb SF Stage 1 tune. I'm going to go out, do some test runs and see what I think, and the sound and everything. I don't know if I'm going to do the data logs tonight. I'll probably do them tomorrow afternoon. And then I'll send them over to Bren Tuning tomorrow. But yeah, that's the install. Sorry if it was a little chopped up. It's kind of my first time recording as I was doing an install, and I just wanted to make sure I was doing it right, so I kind of got a little distracted at some point, you know, trying to get everything put in correctly and making sure I didn't skip a step just because I was talking. But yeah, that's the install. It's pretty simple. It took, you know, 40-45 minutes. Again, that's me with talking to the camera and kind of figuring things out and everything. So if I were to do it again, I'd probably do it in, you know, 20 or 30 minutes. So really simple, cool little mod. It looks very OEM, very clean, which I really like. Like I said, the MA Performance one was a little too raw, I guess, for me. With that big opening in the bottom, and I don't know. This one just looks a little more my style. So, but who knows? That could all change. I might hate it. I might hate the sound. I might not like the tune and everything. But that's for another day. But for now, I guess I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'll be sure to update my thoughts and everything, and after I get all the data logging back and all the revisions that I, you know, plan on getting to make sure the car is performing to my needs, and everything looks good. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one.